All right, first of all, I just want to thank all of you for agreeing to take part in this meeting and for offering your advice and suggestions. We are today going to be talking about teen pregnancy and parenting. And I just want to do a quick introduction of everyone who is here. We have Ms. Bennett, who teaches high school science, Mr. Waters, who teaches high school social studies, Ms. Townsend, English, Mr. Donovan, English, Ms. Dantzler, physical education, and Mr. Sneed, who is an administrator. And so I wanted to begin just with some statistics and some figures that I found to kind of get y'all's ideas if you think that this is indicative of our population in our school and what you see in our area. So it says 4 in 10 girls become pregnant by the age of 20. There's more than 900,000 teen pregnancies annually. 40% of pregnant teens are 17 years or younger. 8 in 10 pregnancies are not planned. 79% of the pregnant teens are not married. And some teens are even having sex earlier than in the past. And also it said that Hispanics now have the highest teen birth rate. And so I kind of wanted to get some ideas if y'all think that that is evident where we are and in our school.
Yes. I agree with a lot of these statistics.
Okay. Does anybody know exactly how many girls that we have who are pregnant right now?
I know that in one English class, there are 3 girls in that one class.
In one class?
3?
Yes.
I think we have about 6 girls that are pregnant that I know of that are visibly pregnant at the high school year. But like you said, I think our school, this is our population. Because like what you just said, a lot of these girls, it just comes from lack of education. I mean, when you have lack of education, you make tons of mistakes. And being pregnant is just one of them.
And I also, when I was doing some research, saw they said there's a correlation in poverty in teen pregnancy as well. And so I'm not sure. I mean, I'm thinking it's like you said, just a lack of exposure and a lack of education. Because I know even I've been asked questions, like some just crazy off-the-wall questions to the kids. You would think that they would know, just like, can you get pregnant if someone comes in a hot tub? And just like crazy things like that you would think like, no. But they honestly don't know because they've never experienced or been exposed to those kinds of
Well,
things.
haven't they changed when they do sex ed classes now? Because I know at one point it was a middle school level course that they were introduced to it, girls in one room, boys in the other, and all that stuff. But now it's now at the high school level, right? Isn't that part of the health curriculum?
When I was at the middle school 2 years ago, I don't know of anything that we did over there.
Yeah.
But I know for me, when I was in school, it started in 3rd grade and didn't start until 7th. I mean, it was every year from 3rd through 7th grade. So.
But when you say teens are having sex earlier, from what I hear over the middle school, they have a lot of girls that they know are. Yes. So that might be an area.
And I also found some information about why we should, aside from the fact that we care about our students, 4 in 10 teen mothers graduate. And so I think that is us as educators, that's kind of devastating to hear, I suppose, that a lot of times whenever teen girls do get pregnant, they no longer work towards their high school diploma. Half of teen mothers drop out of school before becoming pregnant. 52% of all mothers on welfare had children as teens. And teen pregnancy costs taxpayers $7 million a year. And teen mothers have babies with high rates of defects. And now, I'm not so much concerned about the taxpayer situation, like the money aspect of it, more so just about the kids, like caring about them and how that sets them up for the future and everything. So, how do y'all feel about this information?
That's $7 million a year in Orangeburg.
No, I think this is national. Yeah, national.
I know
Out of
for
curiosity, what's the graduation rate for Orangeburg County?
That I'm not sure. I know for our school, it was 79% last year?
I was going to say 80. So
79, 80%. Now, as far as specifically for the teen pregnancies, I think, how many girls did we have that had babies last year?
Oh, we had a good number of them, but most of the seniors that did have babies didn't want to graduate because of homebound.
Right.
And I was getting ready to say that earlier, like, I know at Edison High School, we have placed things to where students can still get their credits. Like you mentioned, homebound,
Or even
like
Edgenuity online.
like Edgenuity. So it's really inexcusable. And they have people that help these girls to complete their high school diploma. So I don't think our dropout rate for teen pregnancies are that bad.
Right.
40%.
Right.
But that 7 million,
Yeah.
part of that homebound is coming,
Right.
going in there because that's federal money that pays for a teacher to go do that. And we have, because they met today, there's that teen mom / whatever group, I don't know the official title of it, but they meet once a month or whatever?
It's called the Family Solutions of the Lower County. And like you said, they meet once a month, and they met today. And they talked about contraception and how to follow through with birth control. And they also talked about how it targets young women to not have a second baby or not get pregnant. But I'm
So the
still
people in
trying
that program are already
right. They're
pregnant.
already pregnant. I think the other day she said that they went to Edisville Fork Baptist Church and they had a luncheon, and they were able to, I guess, disseminate different information to the church, which I think we definitely need to do a better job than that. And they also pay like home visits, doctor visits. I mean, they really communicate with these girls that are pregnant or already have children. And I know for me, when I was in high school, I don't remember all that stuff that was put in place for teen mothers and fathers.
Are the boys in the meetings too?
No, and I was doing some research myself, and we always talk about being a teen mom, but we like dismiss the guy. And I mean, we don't really do anything for the guys when it comes to preparing them for fatherhood. Because I was a teen dad in high school, and there wasn't much offered for me. It was more so geared towards the female, but we don't do anything for the young men that are future teen fathers.
There was a conversation in my classroom that I, as an educator, had to kind of keep a straight face, but it was very alarming. And this particular class, I have 2 ladies in it that are with child. And, the kids were kind of shooting the breeze, and the red flags weren't going off in their head. But I have a child who's pregnant and really doesn't understand the mechanics by which she got pregnant. Just by listening to them talk to each other, she is unaware of normal bodily processes and where certain things go and where certain things may come out of. But yet she's pregnant. So to answer the question, I think that a lot of that happens because they don't know. And it was hard keeping that conversation on a mature, even keel level without all the giggles, out of the, all of that stuff, because it was just this flush red. If we're not used to it, we're gonna laugh about it, and that was the coping mechanism. However, but I remember when I was in school, I had a young lady who got pregnant in the 8th grade, and it was like she was a pariah. You didn't talk to her, you didn't, the what? Oh no, she actually went to another school after that because, and it's just, so I think now Edison Fork does a good job because they had a youth summit a couple of Saturdays ago, but when I look back to what's changed, and I'm not that old, when I look back from what's changed from me to now, and I grew up in a similar community after my dad retired from military, we country folk, agricultural based. The biggest thing that's different is we don't talk about it. We don't talk about it in church anymore. I remember getting sex ed in 7th grade. These kids, even though they have more, they don't have the opportunity to understand what's going on with them. Most of them are not aware of what's going on. Most of them don't even know how to calculate administration days. But that's one of the things that we learned first.
Right.
And I remember a lady in the church teaching us how to calculate our administration days. You know, administration obligation. So until I don't see that changing until knowledge is power. So
And I'm wondering how much of it has to come from shows like Teen Mom, you know, like that kind of glorify the teen parenting situation. Because like you said, when we were in school, there was one girl that got pregnant when I was in high school, and she was so ashamed. I mean, she didn't come to school or anything. She stopped because it was taboo. I guess it's more common now, and I don't know if it is because of things like that, like the culture has changed even. And so, but I completely agree with you. I think it's education, and so that's why I wanted us to meet to talk about stuff like that. What kinds of things we think that we can put in place, because like you said, that program is for teens who are already pregnant, mothers who are already pregnant. What can we do beforehand, outside of even the health classes, like what they do in health? Because do all students have to take health?
no,
Well, a certain age, right? Ninth grade?
Is that a required class for
everybody's not
graduation?
in personal health.
Do we still have second grade classes?
No.
It's incorporated in that health class. Because I remember Ms. Grimes a couple years ago was writing the curriculum for it from her having the science background, and she was incorporating it there. But I thought at one time it was mandatory for all the ninth grade. But maybe it's not. They just were trying to get them all in there.
Right.
And I'm like you, Ms. Bennett, I don't think it ever stops. I think we need to teach them about contraceptives, because kids are gonna have sex.
Well, this is a question that I want to have. I know we as educators, there are certain things that are considered taboo for us to say. But everywhere that I had been prior to getting here, one of the differences that I see, and we had one in little old Lake Marion. There was it was a full-time position in my other schools, but it was a part-time position at Lake Marion, where we had a community outreach coordinator who would come in for a half a day, and this is what she did. Every Friday, we had Friday Night Live, and it would switch from different churches or different venues, and it had a guest speaker. You know, we had Cinnamon Moran, we had Vondella Smith. These are people that the kids identify with because they do hair in the community, they do all this stuff in the community, and this is what they talked about. This is what they did. And that's how we could say what we couldn't say as educators. And churches would line up to host it, and different places would line up to host it. We had Kurt Thomas, the author, lives in Orangeburg, just several people that the kids recognized and identified with out of the community. So it was somebody that they're like, oh, okay, I know this person. This just isn't somebody that's just talking to me. Right. Theodore Reed, that did GCP, that's now closed, but we had him a couple of times to come. Is there an avenue for that here?
In this location, right? And you think it was effective for the kids?
Well, I can get you their numbers. It was, and the kids wanted to come, and it gave them an alternative to just hang out all, Friday. So it actually got a little too big because we couldn't beat them all. So it's just giving them options and stuff to do. Because I've just been here a little bit of time, and I see they hang out for 2 hours in the parking lot at school.
And I know, like, the principal, I know administrative team, we're looking for ideas like that, that teachers or community people are ready to implement. So I think that can happen, and it probably should happen, because, there's no out. And like you said, being a teacher or whatever, you can't really talk. It's taboo to say certain things. And, I know when I taught math, I taught more than just math. It was a lot of life skills that was taught.
Right.
And,
but how do you justify it, like, talking about things like that in a math classroom?
Right.
Well, for boys, it was easy. We taught.
Right.
But for me, trying to talk to another teacher or student, I would never do that. I would listen to Miss Dansler Miss Townsend, but I wouldn't get into those kinds of conversations.
Yeah, like even though I'm a science teacher, I can't pull the banana that's on my desk every day off and show them how to use the car.
Right.
But is that something that they need? I mean, is
Yeah.
that something like that should be?
I had a
should be able
one
to
of my
do?
pregnant students didn't know where to buy condoms from.
Or and
Hence why she's pregnant.
and some boys don't know how to put on a condom. I mean, I'm just being honest with you. I mean, and that leads to condom bursting or falling off. So I mean, it's an art to do things like that, and we have to teach it. I mean, if not, those numbers are going to continue to increase throughout the world, really.
I mean, I think a lot of times they think it's not going to happen. You know what I mean? Because when I taught in North Carolina, I had a student the very first time that she had sex, she got pregnant. And so, or so she says, and I believe her. I genuinely believe her. And so I think, does it have to do again with the culture of that invincibility that like this will never happen to me? Everybody is having sex, everybody's doing it, and then just a couple of them get caught. I mean,
Definitely. I overheard a parent here last year at a football game saying first time his son had sex, got his girlfriend pregnant. So it goes either way. There's both sides there. And I heard Ms. Butler say that they did Friday Night Live, and then down in Lake Marion, but I don't know if there's any safe spaces around here where the kids are going for real talk and for real vernacular, any of the slang terms, sometimes we even try in a classroom, maybe we get pretty clinical and we lose the kids or we talk over the kids' head there. And then bring in SMS communications, texting and emojis and whatever their slang is, how they're communicating about sex. And so we need to know how they're talking about sex.
Right.
And then we can kind of come in and correct some things with them.
I think parents are kind of our worst enemies on this topic, though.
and I think I
Because either they don't care,
or they don't want you to teach them.
right, or they care too much, and they're naive that their child could. I mean, getting a child on birth control today is easy. I mean, it's free. You don't have to have insurance. You can just go to a health clinic and there's no excuse, but you have a lot of parents. My aunt was one of them this summer. My cousin came to me and she said, I'm having sex and I think I'm pregnant. And mom's gonna freak out. And I said, yeah. But I had to go to my aunt and say, you need to open your eyes here. Fortunately, she was not pregnant, but getting her to agree for her to go on birth control after she knew she was having sex and she might be pregnant was still a really big issue. And I couldn't figure it out. I mean, my thing is if she's coming and wanting to get on it, but a lot of people don't look at it that way. They look at it as they're encouraging sex if you let them get on birth control.
Yeah, I think the conversation first starts with the SIC committee that they're trying to get people to join. Because those are the people that, okay, if I see this so-and-so, then I automatically buy in. And one thing I've noticed about Everstone, I love y'all, but y'all real cliquish. So that's going to be the first line of defense. Because I've noticed that certain last names in this community carry a lot of weight. So if you can get those names to buy in, the rest are coming.
Right. You mean in terms of like community events and things like that of that nature?
And I think a lot of times, like she said, the parents are on us to educate them, but the kids are educating each other.
Right.
And that's one of the biggest problems.
Wrong.
Kids, they're giving the wrong
They
information.
educate each other wrong.
And they are. And
They're wrong.
Right.
so we need to do a better job at finding a way to re-educate the miseducation of sex in high school.
Suggestions for that? I mean, does it need to be visible? Like, you know how we have all the posters around about, Jostens is coming with the senior stuff, and, join the National Guard for this and that. Is that something we could do, like, I don't even know if you could put posters out about sex education all over the school. But it has to be visible. I mean, if they're not, I mean, how often do kids feel
You have to
comfortable?
market it with something that the kids want.
Right.
So what can we give these kids? That's why I said it has to be a roundtable discussion between the district, between your stakeholders in the community and your SIC and the teachers. Because what resources can we pull together to barter with these kids to draw them in? For instance, what can we give them for 3 visits? It's gonna start out as a bartering agreement.
Right. Right. Because they won't see the value in just the education alone. Right.
Now, I must admit, at first, it was a labor, but towards the 3rd and 4th visit, you don't even, it feels effortless. And by the time we got to the lock-in, because we would have lock-in songs where all of us would bring sleeping bags and we'd sleep in the gym and watch movies and whatever else. You know, but it took a minute, and you had to barter with them.
So what did y'all do?
I mean, like, we would go to McDonald's was like our ally. McDonald's would give them stuff. Different restaurants would give them things. We had T-shirts made. People would just give us stuff to give them all the time. They had perfect attendance. We took them on field trips if they came for like a month. And it's not even that we had to pay for field trips. Most of the time, they just never had anybody willing to take them
Right.
anywhere. And so, you know, they would bring their money for the movies and we would just be in Sand Hills.
So how did you, now when y'all had the lock-in in the gymnasium, it was boys and girls. So how did y'all monitor?
Somebody had to stay up while the other one slept.
Okay. I like that idea. I like how you
But
said
honey,
you
next day I had to take a nap. It's all day now. I'm not still up that no more.
you know.
But it's different. I mean, I think that's something that's exciting. Like, I mean, as much as they don't want to be at school to like sleep in the gym, as little as that sounds, like it's different.
They were loving it. I was like, we went got to get bags of popcorn from Fromers, and I'm like, these kids really did this. These roaches, and they still.
But I think you're right on something with getting certain names, certain adult names to carry it. On that same token, there are certain leaders in these colleges. If you get them to buy into it, you're gonna get their followers to come with them, and you gotta target them just like you do the adults.
Yeah.
I mean, you know that from coaching football. You know the leaders of the football team. You know who you could get set an example, and the rest are gonna follow. So when you get those certain adults and certain kids come together, and they're gonna help pull the program.
So you think it's more than just an in-school thing? It needs to be an out-of-school thing.
Yeah,
It has to be out of school.
Gotta be out of school.
Okay.
School sponsored, but out of school.
Like if you come to 3 team talks, then you get to go the 4th week on our outing, which may be in Charleston or Columbia or whatever. You know, the getaway, they'll do it.
Yeah, right.
I wonder what is this school's responsibility? The young people in this community about sex, they need real talk. And is that here in the school? What are the guidelines to what can we say? What can we put on the halls out here? I mean, it's for the betterment of the community that our young population is educated on sex and all wonders and mysteries. But who else is doing it? Like, are we just an academic, storehouse here giving academic knowledge, or?
No, you can't be, because you have to take the holistic approach to education. No child is listening if they're hungry. No child is listening, I hate to be crass, but if they have irritating sexual transmitted diseases, nobody cares what I'm saying about balancing the chemical equation. So that's why when somebody asks me to go to the nurse, I let them go, because I don't know. They ain't hearing what I'm saying if certain things going on.
And
I dare not ask.
I think our mission says, or our vision, one of the two, those are always confusing to me, but one of them states that our role here is to they're gonna be the future of this country. And they need to know everything,
Sooner the better.
yeah, to be put up there.
I mean, like Ms. Bennett said, the churches are not talking about it. I mean, I know our church does somewhat, but that is very
Well, I think
rare.
churches have the thought that if they're
stigma.
talking about it,
Right.
they're
They
promoting
make it
it,
okay.
Right.
or, yeah,
Right.
and
And what leeway would I have in my classroom to talk as bluntly? So I would go, whatever, nothing is beyond pale for me. I'll talk to anyone that needs that information. But, I can't jeopardize my career or anything like that. But if I knew that if I was safe, then here it is, 100% honest question, my opinion mixed with, let's look it up on the internet.
I'm pretty sure legally we can. I think science teachers are the only ones that have a little bit more leeway than we do, other than the health classes. Because I remember when Ms. Brown was here and all this was going on, I remember her saying there are certain things you can't talk about because they were trying to figure out how to incorporate this whole. There's some component of State Department that requires sex education. And they were trying to figure out how to fit into our school curriculum, what courses, and then that's how I wound up going into the health courses.
Right.
And she was saying that regular core classes you can't do it.
What if you're in a social studies class and you're talking about other cultures, that thing comes up.
Yeah.
Well, I had a girlfriend who would do it in social studies when they talk about the bubonic plague and all that stuff in the Canterbury Tales, and she brought up the Wiper Bath, and we all know the Wiper Bath was a harlot and had all of this stuff going on. And she would tell me to come in her classroom and talk about the difference, and I snuck it in when we talked about viruses, the different, being a lysogenic and a lytic, lysogenic is when you have HIV and the group, and herpes, it can lie dormant. But then, your lytic cycle, the diseases, they jump out at you right, and then you start itching within 2 and 3 days. And it just, you can kind of sneak it in.
I mean, you don't even necessarily have to sneak it. I mean, you're talking about,
If it's in the
population growth going on in Bangladesh or,
Yeah.
That's the subject.
But I think in those cases it's safe. I think where it's not safe is when you get on their level, like you were talking about. You got to speak in their terms. Like that's when it's not okay for us.
And I mean, I think one of the biggest concerns too is I have one student in mind who I know for a fact will go home and say something to her parent because this happened in middle school. And her dad was very adamant about no one at the school instructing his child about any sort of sexual education whatsoever. And so I think that's where a lot of the red tape comes in also. Because you've got, do we teach abstinence, do we teach protection, and so
And how can we reach
parental involvement.
those children that have the parents that are resistant? But that's ridiculous because no parent's going to be with their kid 100% of the time. Sure. I bring it up. I've got a 1-year-old baby, and I show pictures on the screen a bunch, and I emphasize. I say over. I think I'm in CYA, but I say we planned. We were married for 4 years. We planned to have a baby. We waited 4 years, and then it was right, the right time. We had a baby. We planned to not have any more kids until we were ready again.
Well, I tell my students all the time, and Mrs. Neal will tell you, because they laugh at me because my door is open all the time. And I'm just like, look, I was hard and grown and had a husband when I had my baby, and it was still a struggle. I'm an old mama, as many people, say, like, why you wait so late? How you late? And it was still a struggle. Your quality of life is going to change. Daycare for my child, and I didn't even take her when she was an infant, was $150 a week. I can't imagine what it is now because she's a preteen. So 150 times 4.
But with all the things that they have, I don't think it's very hard for them. With all the services they can get post baby. I mean, I remember when I was teaching here, my first or second year, I had a student that had a child, and there was a bus that came here and picked the baby up to go to daycare in this community. it wasn't difficult for her.
So are we crippling kids?
So, so we want to help them, because we don't want them to drop out. That's our ultimate goal. We want them to be productive citizens, but then it needs to be a little hard for there to be consequences. How do you balance that where they have responsibility, but yet they're still successful?
Right. That's a good question. That's a good question.
Because let's be realistic. They're probably not paying to have these babies.
Right.
We are. Really. Once you pay to have, I've never had one, but for all my family members that have, from what I understand, it's no cheap task.
They sent me the bill. They accidentally sent me a bill before they even did my insurance. $86,900 and some change to have a baby. That's why I won't.
But if you haven't seen that, if they're never seen these things,
Right.
then the reality of having this baby, plus, then there's WIC, right after a baby, there's the Medicaid, the welfare, all the,
ABC daycare vouchers.
yeah, I don't,
And that's why it's like a generational fade,
yeah,
because they cripple them early
yeah.
as a team, and they just go, it's better. I have some friends that won't even get married
Oh, yeah.
because they'll stop getting assistance,
Mhm.
because they continue having children and sell food stamps.
Oh, yeah.
So we're really crippling them by providing all those services at a young age.
I think they need assistance so that they are successful, but there's gotta be a better balance of it.
And there needs to be an age where it stops.
Or like a repayment, like you can get assistance,
But
but
you gotta work in the community, like in a public venue,
Service.
yeah.
right?
Just like, let's be honest, all of us in here are either in graduate school or have done it. And if we want our loans forgiven, we gotta work 10 years, we gotta pay for them 10 years consecutive all the time, and then they'll talk about,
75.
Then they'll talk about forgiving the rest, which at that point, how much are they really forgiving?
Right.
So why couldn't we do that with something like this? Why can't the government say, we'll give you this assistance, just like a loan, but you will have interest and you got to work it off?
So, is there a way that this can start off as a roundtable discussion amongst stakeholders?
I think it has.
Once we agree on a visual in terms, because all parties have to agree on the visual, because if it offends somebody, it's not going to work. So once we agree on the visual, and you can successfully look at your data at start and then at end, and then you can move into phase 2, which is including government agencies and maybe a barter. Okay, well, to pick your child up from the school, you have to participate in this outreach program that's going on at a stuff. Or we ain't coming to pick your baby up.
And so I think even you can include targeting before it comes to, we have to get it too. And, all of this would include sexually active boys as well.
Yeah, I think that's a great point.
Yeah, we gotta somehow include these boys.
Because it's almost like we put everything on the girls.
Yes.
When girls get pregnant, it's like, oh, now you're shunned, you're not gonna graduate, you know what I mean?
As if they did it.
Right, with almost no responsibility on the other party, other than,
But I think Steve, you're right. They need just as much education, and I really never thought about it that way. So you said that. It takes 2 to tango.
sure,
Both need to know the dance steps.
and so I agree with you, but I definitely think it starts as a roundtable discussion, and I think that is something moving forward that we need to, put in place.
Because if you actually show everybody respect and have that discussion, they might find some funds from you from somewhere.
Right.
And you're able to pull it together. And like I said, you don't want to offend anybody around here. So, what about everybody?
Well, and you're right. If I didn't, if they show up, that's their decision, and if they
Well,
don't,
at least you can
That's
say,
right.
I
Everybody-
extended the invitation.
I asked for you to come give your input.
And I think even when you just present the data, or just, I mean, what we've talked about, I mean, the priority is there. It's definitely a need. So I think we've definitely determined a good starting point of where to build from. So I appreciate y'all so much for coming. And thank you for your suggestions in the conversation.